did you start laughing immediately?
I don't know. Visiting Universal is really stressful, especially if you're autistic or you have sensory issues. As an autistic person, it has been quite the learning curve to try and figure out what can help me and what has not helped me. So here are some tips and tricks I've picked up along the way. What you bring to Universal is honestly what can make or break your trip. Here are some items that have helped me adapt to the difficult environment that Universal is. I'm putting these at number 1 because these are honestly what helped me the most. They're loop earplugs if you don't know. They come with a tiny little carry case like this. And these are what they look like. You put them in your ear and they muffle all the background noise, like the talking, the roller coaster sounds, all that. And they also make you able to hear the people that are closest to you. I don't know how they do it, it's a miracle, honestly. But they're really nice, they've helped me a lot, and they're only $45. They're waterproof and you can take them on any water ride you want. So they're very nice. I cannot tell you how many times I've been walking through the inferno that is Florida for like 8 hours, and there's just Shrek's swamp in my shoe, and the only way that I can think of to get rid of it is to just bring socks. Bring as many socks as you can muster in your bag. Otherwise, Donkey will try and bring you waffles in the morning. Like, it is scary. Some rides in Universal have water effects or are just water rides in general. Walking around with wet hair can be quite annoying, so being able to dry your hair is a must. On top of that, the weather is kind of unpredictable, like the myth, not really myth, that it rains on the first day of Halloween Horror Nights. And having this to dry your hair is amazing, because some of us really hate having wet hair on our back. Also, to dry your phone screen, your camera, your toes, whatever it may be. This is amazing. I tend to prefer wearing long bike shorts with shorts on top, because the shorts underneath really help with chafing. And the shorts on top, if you get them wet from, let's say, Jurassic Park Adventure, you can just take them off and shove them in your bag with a towel on top. And I wear a tight fitting shirt underneath, and of course my Hawaiians. The Hawaiians really help with keeping me warm, but also keeping me cool. They provide shade on my arms, and they also keep me warm at nighttime during, for example, the Mardi Gras parade or something like that. So yeah. Always bring your sunglasses and your sunscreen. This is Florida, after all, and we are known as the Sunshine State. This is probably the lesson that I learned the quickest after I moved here from Iceland. It is so bright. My eyes, they are on fire constantly, unless I have these. These are clear, but with sunlight, they transition into sunglasses. That's just what I prefer, but you can do whatever you want. Make sure to reapply your sunscreen as directed on the back of your bottle, and make sure to pack it to end up avoiding looking like a baked potato. There's no worse feeling than being out in Florida, having the sun beam on your head with nothing to combat it. That's why I like to bring hats, but I prefer bucket hats. He's the one that forced me at gunpoint to wear a cowboy hat. Oh, okay. And I like to wear hair ties. Ow, ow. Bringing a hat and some hair ties can do double duty of protecting your cranium from having direct contact with the sun.
This is your brain.
And this is Florida heat. This is your brain in Florida.
Any questions?
As I've stated a few times, Florida is known for its unpredictable weather, and the theme parks know this, which is why if you don't bring your own umbrella, do you mind? Which is why if you don't bring an umbrella, you will need to pay one of your arms, legally. It is in the contract when you buy the ticket. I swear to you, read it. And it's quite uncomfortable because you can't really, carry one of your drinks and an umbrella when you only have one arm. So, yeah. No, but seriously, bring your own umbrella because they're really expensive, like triple price. And next on our list, drugs. Well, painkillers and pain cream, because you're going to be walking around a lot. And when I say a lot, like 7,000, 25,000 steps, it's a lot of walking. And it's going to be painful, really painful. Like you're going to have blisters. And the only thing that helps is painkillers and pain cream. If you're on the out of shape side or the older side, then you're definitely gonna need this. You're gonna be walking around, you're gonna be waiting in line for 3 hours for a velocicoaster. Thanks, Universal, for the insane standby times because of express passes. But yeah, definitely go pick up drugs at your local pharmacy. For those of us with motion sickness, Universal poses a very big threat to our lunch. A majority of the rides at Universal, and even some of the rides at Islands of Adventure, are screen-based rides. This means they are moving along while you have action in front of you. This can cause motion sickness, dizziness, nausea, and these items can certainly help with that. The ginger candy can help your stomach when feeling nauseous, and smelling the alcohol wipes can do the same. The Dramamine can help with the symptoms of motion sickness, and I recommend taking it 30 minutes before going on a ride. It would suck if you ride Simpsons and lost your lard lad donut in the process. You may need a few Flaming Moe's to wash that taste down. Being around large crowds can be difficult, even for people without sensory issues, and having a little snack can certainly help you feel grounded and help you when you're in dire situations, when you're about to have a meltdown or if you're about to have a panic attack. So popping a piece of gum or a piece of snack can really help. But please, don't throw your gum on the ground. You're nasty.
Gross! You nasty!
Although Universal does give you water in the freestyle machines, regardless of the container you have, they only serve Dasani. And personally, I think Dasani is basically like drinking seawater. It is absolutely disgusting. And I bring my own water, and I know that other people hate Dasani too. What I usually do is I take 2 water bottles and I freeze them the night before, and I take one unfrozen but chilled water bottle and I bring them with me, and I wrap the bottles in a paper towel so the condensation doesn't get my bag wet. Now at this point you may be wondering, where am I going to put all this stuff? Well, you need to bring a backpack. That's my philosophy, at least. I do not understand people that don't bring backpacks. Like, where do you put your stuff? You just slide it into your socks? What? Anyways, you need to bring one that fits into a ride locker. Now, a ride locker is 14 by 5.5 by 16.9 inches. But if you bring a bag that is basically a suitcase, like I do, you can get a larger locker at guest services in the front of the park, and that locker is 12 by 13 by 6.9 inches.
Ooh.
You look like you're going fishing.
Maybe I am. Now let's move on to some tips and tricks that you can use at the parks. Now first things first, I have my phone out because this is going to be a lot of info. It's an info dump. AAP, the Attractions Assistance Pass. It's a pass that allows you to ride a ride without having to physically wait in line. This is incredibly useful for those of you in wheelchairs or for those of you that have other types of mobility impairments. Also, for those with cognitive impairments, or this pass is a physical piece of paper. You can get it at guest services at the front of the park, and you do not need a doctor's note. However, it would help if you had one. Once it's obtained, you just simply hand it to one of the ride operators, and if the wait is more than 30 minutes, you can go wait somewhere else and then come back to ride the ride at the time that they tell you to. One thing of note is when you do pick up one of these passes, you will need to disclose why it's needed. One thing also to keep in mind is when you're using one of these passes, you can only use one ride at a time. In other words, you can't queue up for multiple rides, you have to do it one at a time. There's no stacking these lines. So you can't just walk in and walk to every ride and set up your queue and then just go to all of them. If you're an annual pass holder, you can have this pass issued for up to 14 days. You have a maximum party size of 6 people. And if you're not a pass holder, it'll only be issued for the duration of your stay. Which is a weird wording for me because I feel like, what if you're staying for 14 days anyways? So what's realistically the difference? So that's one thing to keep in mind there. Alright, up next, another interesting tip. Make sure you do not go over your limits. Just know what your limits are. Don't go to Universal at opening time thinking that it's going to make you look good. Don't do it just because you want to look good. If you're going to go to an event that takes place after the park hours, be sure to arrive at the time that you're comfortable with, because you don't want to waste all of your energy before going to an event. We've done this plenty of times where we try to spend the whole day at Universal and then do another, oh god, what is it, 6-8 hours at Halloween Horror Nights? They close at 2 a.m. So it can be pretty bad. You ultimately end up running out of energy and walking around like a brainless zombie the entire time, so not fun. Also, don't forget to eat before, during, and after your trip to the parks. If you have to, set a reminder to eat. Sometimes the chaos and fun of the parks can interrupt that inner body alarm you have telling you, hey, I need to eat, or hey, I need to drink. Sometimes the extreme exhaustion after the parks can do the same thing, so just don't forget to eat, drink, and replenish your energy because you're going to need it for the next day. Make sure you take plenty of sitting breaks. Yeah. There are plenty of places to sit at Universal, if you can find them. There are places to sit. It's just, the crowds are so large, sometimes it's hard to find those spots. Just be sure to keep a lookout for an opportunity to rest your legs and your body, because by the end of the day, you'll be spaghetti noodling all the way back to the car, and that's not going to be a great time. If you plan on going for multiple days in a row, make sure you take care of yourself before going to the parks and after the parks. Don't skip showers, guys. You all have heard the memes of anime convention people smelling bad. It's not a real thing, necessarily. I'm sure there's plenty of people who know how to shower because we're all normal human beings, but just do it. You're going to be tired after the parks, I get it. You're going to be tired in the mornings probably before you go to the parks, or rushed for time, so just take a quick shower. Get some deodorant in those pits and get your way to the parks, because no one wants to be standing in line next to a rotting corpse, basically. You're gonna be sweaty from the days at the parks. I don't care how fit you are. It's gonna be rough.
I'm talking to you, Julia.
Oh. Get called out. For any of you named Julia, I'm so sorry. Familiarize yourself with the map of the park. That's really important because you're going to want to know where you're going to go when you get there. The parks can be a bit of a maze if it's your first time going. I've been going for years, so I'm kind of used to it, but she can probably attest to the fact that they're kind of crazy when you first get there for the first time. I remember when we went to Islands of Adventure, you were kind of lost.
I kept asking, where are we? Where are we going?
Yeah, so this way you don't expend all your energy running around in circles trying to find the attractions. Another thing to keep in mind is make sure you download the Universal Orlando Resort app, because that's going to have a map for you for the park, as well as wait times and all the other information you might need, including restaurants, restrooms, places to sit down, waiting areas, all those types of things. In that same vein, make sure you know what park you're going to, because for some reason, people tend to end up going to somewhere like Disney and then asking, where's the Hulk roller coaster, or where's Hogwarts, or Diagon Alley, or where's Seuss Landing? Well, they're not here. They're at a different park. That's something to keep in mind. Some people, I'm not saying everyone, but there are some people who will forget to do their research on the park they're going to, and they will sorely regret it, because tickets are ridiculously expensive, both at Universal and Disney. Up next, bring your phone or a camera. Bring your phone and a camera, or just your phone if you like your camera on your phone. I don't. I bring my own camera. You're going to want to make sure that you have this, because you're going to want pictures of all the things that happen. Universal is about making memories, and what's the point of going to Universal if you don't have anything to share on social media for social cred? Or to, for example, Show your friends at school that you actually went on the trip that you've been telling them about for the last 30 minutes and that it wasn't all just something that you made up.
Is that a personal experience or?
Yes. Speaking of friends, if you're going to be going with your friends, be sure that they know what they're getting themselves into. Be sure to get a rough idea of what everyone wants to be doing, because you don't want to sit around arguing. Again, ticket prices are expensive. You want to make sure you know what you're doing. Be sure that you are respectful of the groups that you're with, because, you know, some people might move a little slower or just might not be able to keep up with your pace. That in mind, if you are in a group or you have teenagers, kids, don't be afraid to separate. It's okay. Not everyone has the same plans at a theme park. Not everyone wants to ride the same rides. Allowing everyone their own personal freedom to explore and make memories can leave a lasting impression. Always be sure to keep your phones on if you're doing this, and set a specific location in a park that you guys can meet up at. Typically, I would say choose a gift shop or some sort of restaurant, somewhere where you know staff members have a phone that they can answer. That way, if there's an emergency and you can't get a hold of the kid or vice versa, they can call Universal and have them forward you to the phone of that particular restaurant, and that person in the restaurant can see if they can find someone for you. They're usually pretty happy to do this because they want to make sure that families keep everyone, you know, accounted for. On the topic of staff members, don't be afraid to ask the staff questions. They're there to help you. They're all super friendly. I even had an experience where I was in a Halloween Horror Nights house, and there was a guy in front of me who just straight up started having a panic attack, and even one of the dudes in costume that are meant to scare you stopped and started helping him to make sure he was okay and helped him get out of the house. They're all very friendly, even the ones that look scary during Halloween Horror Nights. They're here for you, they're here to entertain you, and they're here to help you. Last but not least,
then I shall be a poopy pants.
have fun. Don't be a poopy pants. You should enjoy your time at Universal. And if you're in a group, this is really important because it's not just your time. You're sharing that time with other people. You may be stressed out. You may feel like you're gonna have a bit of a panic attack or something, and that's okay. Just work with your group and make sure everything's fine. Tell them what's going on, be communicative, and do what you can. But remember, it's not just your time at the park. There's other people there as well, so try to stay positive and enjoy the park as much as you can. That way you can create those lasting memories that I mentioned wanting to take pictures of above. So, just, again, don't be a poopy pants. Hopefully some of these tips and tricks are useful to you guys. They certainly were to us. We've spent a lot of the times at the park lately. She recently moved to the US from Iceland, so she's not been here long enough to experience the parks fully, but she fell in love with them almost immediately. She really enjoyed going, and it's become something that we just decided to do and enjoy. Thank you guys for watching. Let us know in the comments if you think there's anything that we should cover next, or if there's anything that you think we missed. Other than that, have fun at the parks, guys.
Have fun.